Hello and welcome to my kitchen. Right, so this is the first one I've done in this kitchen. Gosh, listen, I live in the south of England, you know, you don't get a lot of bang, you know, for your buck here, so I think the kitchen, even though it's well sorted out for me, because I designed it, actually done it, it works well. It works well for us, plus because it's only, you know, me and him here. But today what I want to show you is I'm going to make some soup. Now I usually get the pumpkins and everything else and I make soup and different things for the kids, but because I'm actually really busy, even though I've sort of given up everything else apart from doing YouTube, I still don't have a lot of time, but we still have to eat. Plus, as you know, I love my garden. So today we're going to make butternut squash, sweet potato and potato soup. Now I'll tell you now, I'll take some photos and stuff and show you the products I'm using. I shop at many different places, alright, so none of this on here has got any links to any shops. I'm not promoting any shops. You can use products from anywhere. If you grow your own, even better. And if you grow your own, you probably make a load of soups. Like, I love it. I love, but you know, it's winter now. In my garden there's not a lot around, as you know. We've been talking about this garden, haven't we, for ages really. So today I'm just going to use some products that I brought from Waitrose. Now I was in Waitrose on Saturday with Jeff and we wanted some sushi because you can't get better sushi. Not anywhere else like that unless you go to a proper sushi bar and stuff. I love Waitrose sushi, so I took him in there and I said, right, while I'm here I'll get some stuff for the soups. One, because I want to record it, but two, because Halloween's coming. I love Halloween, and Halloween marks for us like soup season, so it's that lovely comforting food. But as many of you know, I've had high blood pressure and I've got high cholesterol, so I've had to change different things. One of them was cutting out some work and stuff. That's why now I only do YouTube. And the other part was, you know, healthy eating, healthier lifestyle and stuff. I've always loved soups, but I like to know what sort of goes in my food. So sometimes it's easier to make it myself. And really, I mean, I'll go to Lidl's, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Marks and Spencer's, another one I love, and Waitrose. So I use all these shops. If you choose what products you want to use, I'm just going to show you what I do. So I'm just going to have to put my hair up or something so I can cook. Probably also because I'm in white, not a great thing to wear, I suppose, when you're wearing soup, but I'm going to record after the murder mornings and that on the cases that I put out last week. So I don't really want to get changed again. I may have to, so if you are a Murder Analysed, you know, member, I could be changed or I could be in this. It depends how this goes, doesn't it? So anyway, let's think now. Let's maybe this one. Must always have pinafores, always. Now, as a lot of you know, I loved thrift shopping or second-hand shopping and stuff like this. These are not second-hand, but what they were made by was a group of people for the charity shops to sell. So they're handmade. I just love them. And I think I paid about £3 for it. But listen, if you're going to cook soup, especially in white, or you're going to cook anything really, put a pinny on. I love it. Love it. Me and Taylor, we just love our pinnies. And so anyway, don't think you can't buy second-hand or you can't buy reused like materials that, you know, a lot of these pensioners and stuff have made for these charity shops. It helps out the charities. It's right, I'm going to go and put my hair up, get the stuff out. I'll be back in a minute. So this is what I'm using. I'm even cheating. Where usually I would chop up a pumpkin and actually my sister Lisa said to me today, oh, you got your pumpkins? I said no, I'm using butternut squash. And the reason I'm using it because one, I'm a little bit busy, but this is sliced butternut squash. As you can see there. I think it was only like £1 something. listen, if you're like me and you haven't got a lot of time, it's all done for you, isn't it, the hard work? But, you know, the kids are going mad when they see it, you know, saying, Nan, you didn't chop the pumpkins up and this, that and the other. Chopping pumpkins up to cook is hard, because really you can either cook them in the oven so that they're, you know, the skin's off and you can scoop it out, or you boil them up, then scoop out what you want. I mean, take all the pips out first, you know, and then to peel a pumpkin is a very difficult thing to peel. So cook it first. So chop it up, take all the seeds out if you're going to do pumpkin soup. Just chuck it, you know, get all that bit out of it. Cut it up as best you can. Put it on parboil so that loosens the texture inside, you know, the goodness, I suppose, away from the skin. Chuck the skin out and use that. Other than that, buy this. Much easier. So I'm using 2 bags of this. Okay, 2 bags. Butternut squash, pre-sliced. Love it. As I said, I got these from Waitrose. You can get these from anywhere. Actually, yeah. Oh no, 1 from Sainsbury's, 1 from Waitrose. That's how much butternut squash I eat. And then the other bit, you can, and this, I've got a sweet potato here. But I love sweet potato, and I do sweet potato fries and different things like that in the oven. Fantastic. But rather, again, than peeling this, chopping it up into chunks, what this is. So this has got sweet potato and butternut squash, but it is for soup. But it's got a lot of sweet potato. If you want more sweet potato, or you don't want to use white potatoes or ordinary potatoes, you can just use sweet potato and take the other potatoes out. So, good idea. And there's a real one. So, I have got the actual stuff. It's easier to do it this way. Then I'm using, and I think they're Maris Piper actually, the potatoes I've got. Just peel them, which I'm going to do in a minute, chop them up. And then that's sort of the ingredients really done, apart from a few herbs and spices and stuff that I put in. Plus I put in a tiny little bit of chilli into mine, just to give it that. I add 2 of these. I don't know if you can see them. 2 of these because I love them, so they just give you that stock. You need that, and then you need a big pot. Bigger the better, really. Depends how much soup you want to make. If you haven't got a big pot, you can do it in 2 separate saucepans. It's so easy to make, so quick, so cheap. To round it off, to make it look like you've worked hard all day long on this, you know, 15-20 minute meal, I finish it off, and this is some nice bread. I think, what is this one? Because I've got sourdough bread, I've got loads of different breads, but this one is rosemary and sea salt, the kasha. So again, I think this one was from Sainsbury's, but you can get this from anywhere. Actually, I must say, Lidl's bakery part is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love it. And if you go in there early enough, they're still fresh, they're still warm. It's just fantastic. Anyway, I'm going to chop up my potatoes and get everything ready, and I'll be back in a minute. Right, I'm back. So I've chopped up all my little bits and pieces, which I'll show you in a minute. But what we do is we compost any food waste. In the UK at the moment, there's a really big drive to compost. If you haven't got compost in your gardens, it's a good idea to get one, really. But with our local authorities, what they do when they collect our rubbish is that you can put out now food waste into separate little bins. It's a really good idea. So rather than having all that food waste in these bins on landfills and gosh knows what else, now it goes to a recycling place, just, you know, it goes back into the earth, which is great, isn't it, really? So try and always do that. Let me put this back over there. Anyway, that goes out once a week. Really, I put about 3 or 4 of these bags out a week, you know, because we get a lot of fresh stuff. So I have chopped up, the only thing I had to chop up really was my potatoes and that, and I have chopped up the butternut squash a little bit more. You don't need to, because what you want to do with this is boil it up, really. You want to boil it and then simmer it so it all softens, it breaks down. You want it to break down. because the potatoes, especially like a thickening agent, really, it thickens the soup. So I've used about 5 pints of water in my pot. So it's not right full, it's got about this much left from the top. So that would be like, you know, about 1,000 millimeters, 1 litre, 1.1 litre. So it's about 5 of them, but it depends on your saucepans and your pots that you're using. As I said, you can do this in separate pots. If you haven't, don't go out and buy a load of stuff. Just use what you've got. So everything's here. So I've got my, now the thing is with salt, it's the Irish in me, isn't it? I love salt, but because of the blood pressure and everything else, I've had to cut out salt. So I can have a little bit. So with this pot of this amount of water in it, what I've used, 5 pints, I've put about 1/4 teaspoonful of salt in it, because it needs something. Plus I'm going to put in a few little chili flakes. And now these I love these are from the range, and they're so good. So like a little bit of Italian herbs, it just helps give it something. And also a little bit of basil I chuck in there, just a little bit. Plus then I'm going to put your 2 stock pots in. Now these are Knorr stock pots that you can use, or if you've got a lot of you have grown your own vegetables and you make your own stocks, well done, great. I do these, that's good. And then of course some ground black pepper. Now at the end, when you've done all that and you've boiled it all up, which you're about to do in a minute, you then, and I'll show you what I do, because I've got like a, it's not a mixer, it's like a blender, right? It's a blender, but it's usually like a milkshake blender and all this. I use it for soups, that's the only reason I brought it. I've had it years, I love it. So I use it for that, but I'll show you that blending bit once it's done. So this you can leave on for as long as you want, because you want it really to break down. So you want all this stuff, plus I have washed my hands, so you can either use any soap, or for quickness, as you're cooking throughout, you can use some hand sanitizer. So just in case, I mean we've not got any meat or anything here, but even so. So anyway, I'm just going to start putting these in to about 5 pints of water. As you can see, there's a lot. There is a lot. But I like a bit of white potato in it, you know. And listen, the potatoes, these aren't brand new potatoes. Soups are meant to be from leftovers, you know, the extras. You can make soup from anything, really, anything. So this should be quite cheap. It really should be cheap. This could feed quite, I mean I feed the kids, they love it. This is like they know Nan starts to make soups over this Halloween period, and they just love it. You know, our nights are drawing in now, the clocks go, I think they go back or forward, I can't remember now, but this weekend anyway. So it gets dark in England at 4 o'clock and that, so you know, warm comforting food is good. Plus everyone's on a budget, you know, we're all on a budget. I mean I've just give up a load of work to do my YouTube. I need to save as much money as possible, but I still believe that you should eat healthy but cheaply. You haven't got to spend a lot of money, and if you have got time to make your own stuff, you know, and even get the kids involved, they would love it. They would just love it. Mine, when they were younger, when they didn't have lives of their own, which they've got now, would come round the grandchildren, you know, and cook with me and stuff. That doesn't happen so much now, to tell you the truth, because they're older, aren't they? They've got their own lives. They don't want to be hanging around with their nan. But they will still come round and have a bit of soup. Let's just put the rest of this in. So all that stuff I showed you, I chopped up about 6 medium-sized white potatoes to go in with that. So now that pot is quite full. Just put this in. Wash my hands. I know you can't see me, but I'm still here. It's hard to get my camera angle in here. Okay, so why this is on, I've turned it on, it's on, I've got electric, and it's on, I put it on 6, it's the highest. But then I will, as it boils up, I will turn it down and continue to simmer that for quite a long time, until I think it's all broken down. It's going to blend really well and thicken up. You know, that's when it comes to that. Let me just show you something else. It's up to you if you want to put it in or not. So a lot of people like cream of everything, like cream of, you know, some cream soup. So you can have cream of butternut squash. If you are going to add cream, you wait until right the last moment, really. So I would, if I was going to add cream to mine, now I've got cream for something else. I'm going to do a potato bake with chives and different things like that, which I'll probably show you on here, and also this is what this cream is about. But I would use single cream, and you can even use lower fat cream, or creme fraiche really is another good one to use. But what you would do if you was going to add cream is that you would finish all this process, take it to the blending point, blend it, put it back on the stove, and slowly then add in your cream. That's it, take it off the heat and leave it, your soup's done. Or at the end, if you didn't want to add cream to the whole lot, you could put cream in a jug, couldn't you? Put it on the table, and people could put their own bit of cream in, you know, with their chunky bread, a bit of seasoning. Oh, it'd be lovely. Not that I'm allowed to have cream, really, but now and again. So anyway, that's it. So let's add some little bits. So with this is the Italian herb. I just think it needs something. So I would probably use a tablespoon full. Just chuck it in. No airs and graces here. And then this is basil, probably about the same amount. But if you have other spices or herbs that you like to use, put them in. Your creation, your soup. Now, as I said, I do like just a touch of chilli. So we have got 5, you know, pints of water. So I would say about that much chilli for me, but you may like it. So it's just literally to give it a bit of a kick. And then finally, well, not finally, because I've got to put the pepper in yet, and a little bit of salt. So let's put these pods in. Let's chuck it all in. Stir it up in a minute. These are absolutely fantastic. You can get them for everything. Actually, I'll show you what I did get. I got, because I love pastas and stuff as well. Now these ones I got from Waitrose, and these are stock pots. Smoked chilli and tomato. Fantastic. We're making tomato soup or pastas really. And I think the other one I got was paprika and sun-dried tomatoes. Lovely. But they just add a bit more flavour, especially in the pasta sauces, because I try not to use the tinned sauces, you know, or the jar sauces, because they're high in sugar and they're high in salt and stuff, unless you can find a really good one that isn't. And to tell you the truth, tomatoes have got no fat in them at all, nothing. If you blend up a load of tomatoes and probably stick one of them in, you know, you're on your way to a really good sauce there. But anyway, that's that done. My neighbours must think I'm mad. Anyway, little bit of salt. As I said, probably in this, it depends how much you like salt. If it was me cooking before I had high blood pressure, it would have been a lot more salt than that, but oh well. And then some pepper. Love pepper. Okay, get the wooden spoon out. Now Jeff loves this. I said to him, oh, I'm making soup today. Oh, he loves it. You come home from work, and the thing is with this, it's got the smell in your house. It will go all round. It's just lovely. And you're just going to stir it all in. Let it boil up. And once it boils up, simmer. And that's it. And then after that bit, I'll be back. Once it's ready to blend, you'll see how I blend. Bit messy, but worth it. Okay, speak to you soon. Back. So it's been a few hours and I've just left it on breaking down. It doesn't matter, you can just leave it on as long as you want, but you turn it down and just leave it. I've been working on this case, this Sinclair case, for the weekend, so I've been sort of doing little bits and stuff for that. Plus I've been, while this has been cooking and doing its thing, I've been working on my murder mornings and going through the questions and stuff. Really interesting stuff. Oh God, I love it. So anyway, let's get back to the soup. So I was going to say, you haven't got to put it on the stove, right? What you can do, as I don't know if you can see it on this, I have a slow cooker here, and if you're out at work, you can put this in the slow cooker in the morning. By the time you get in it, it'll all be like soft and mushed up. You can always then put it through the blender, and it's a quick bit of soup. Easiest way to do it, really, I suppose. So this is my blender, right? It's not really a blender, is it? So I think it's like a juicer or I don't know, but I've had it years and I love it. Right? I absolutely love it. So it's Kenwood, and it's a smoothie maker, I suppose, and it's really good. But what you've got to remember is when you're making soup, is that soup is hot. So unless you're going to want it to cool down a little bit before you blend it, that's up to you. I do it while it's hot, because then I have another saucepan ready to drain it through. But because it's hot, put the lid on, make sure it's tight, and when you're doing it, try not to overfill either, because as it blends it becomes fuller. Put your hand on the top. Very, very dangerous if you don't. So, and plus, if you're going to let the kids do the blending bit, I'd probably wait for it to cool down quite a lot before you do that. So anyway, let's get on with this. So as you can see, it's still, you know, doing its thing, and I've just left it and left it and left it. And now we're going to scoop some bits in. So let's turn this off now. And plus it had the lid on, and then it had the lid halfway on, because like that, because you want it to do its thing. So anyway, right, let me get my scoop out. So this is what you want to do, right? So this has got like an open and a shut thing on it. I want this shut because I don't want it leaking out the bottom. Okay, so you get this. And you start just the big. I don't know if you can see this because I'm not there. We do need some liquid in with it because we want to liquefy it. It comes out big chunks. As you can imagine, very, very hot. So put the lid on. This is going to get a little bit loud. So I slowly just pulse it first, just to blend it up. And then I'm going to mix. That's it, little bits at a time. And then, literally, you can open it up, pull it forward a little bit. Okay, so that is sort of all you do. Just let it drain. I hope you can see that from there. I'll tilt it down a little bit. I'll tilt the camera down a little bit for you to see. Okay, that's a bit better, isn't it? So let's do this again then, yes? So, take the lid off. Remember, it's still hot. You can pour out that little bit, because you can see how thick that is. This is our soup. Does a lot. My Ricky's waiting for it. He'll get his tomorrow. But this does me and Jeff, the kids. This also keeps really well in the fridge as well. For a few days you can leave it in the pot. So much you can do with it. Keep blending slowly. Now, you've probably got a better tool for blending than I have, but let's remember a little bit of noise. And go. Now, Right, to make it quicker, usually you can just drain it. To make it quicker, take the lid off. And there's our soup. So, I mean, you might have a better way of doing it, but this is the way I've always done it. And my kids just love it. Continue to fill. Getting all the bits in. I'm going to change my spoon now because I want to. If you don't get every big chunk out, they're well cooked. You want the potato bits out. Gotta get this sievey thing out, no. So you're left with a lot of liquid as well, but it's all soup. Because it's orange, you can't see what's in there. So at the moment I'm trying not to take too much of the sauce out. I just want the chunky bits. Yeah, listen, Jeff thinks I've been cooking all day when he gets home, Macy. He thinks it's great. But really, the longer you leave it, the better, because it just gives it more flavour. Cooks everything down, doesn't it? So take your time. There is no rush. There was no rush in this house. Okay. Right, a little bit of washing up. So with this one, it's more fluid. You've got to be a bit careful. See how high that's coming up? Done. Done. A few more bits in there, maybe. Maybe. So, lid off. Right, so that's done a whole saucepan of it. A whole saucepan. Literally. Probably way more than it is for a family. But great soup. It's great soup. So let me just go through it. Let me just go through and see if there's anything else, any little bits that I can get out of this. Yeah, still got some bits in there. So I'd like to see, you know, I know a lot of you spoke to me about your gardens and stuff. It'd be great. I don't know if you can, I think you might be able to do it on Facebook, show me pictures and put pictures up and give me comments and that. I don't think with this YouTube channel, the family one at the moment, you can. But as I do more and the subscriptions go up, then the community page sort of comes out and we can do more. But I'd love to see your photos of you making your soups and everything. What flavours you're going to go for. That'd be really good to see. So, and also about the gardens, because I remember I know a lot of you are like me, you love your gardens. And my garden hasn't been great this summer, I've said that before. And I have got some clips actually from my garden that I'm going to put on the end of this, so you can have a look at that and see what you think of that. But yeah, we haven't, have we had I don't think we've had a great season in England this year at all. I've started to plant though some of my the bulbs. That's started to be planted. So hopefully for next year we'll have a better, you know, season than we had last year. Okay, I think this is enough soup for me. So let's just do this last one. Okay, while I'm doing this last one, I will just clear away a little bit, and then I will show you what it's like done and served. See you in a minute. Okay, we're back. Right, so I've sort of cleaned up that. So let's get that out of the way. What I would say if you're going to use one of these is really rinse it through. And what I do, I rinse it all through, clean it up, but then I open up this bit so it drains out anything that may be left in there. That's really all I use it for. I don't use it for that much. So get all the soup, there's a little bit more left in there that I've done, and just then pour it back in. Into your pot, because don't forget you haven't really used this pot. You've literally only used it for a little bit of storing your soup in. And I just love a butter sink. Mine's a Belfast sink, but I'd love a butter sink, because butter sinks are even bigger. Belfast sinks are really good. But anyway, try and keep clean as you go along. I didn't use the lids to have this. Let's get another little bit of the spoon out here. It's alright. So in the end, it's turned out we've probably got 3/4 of the liquid that we had at the beginning, because the potato and everything has now soaked it up, and it's also thickened it up. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to have to take my camera right down. Can you see? No? Hang on, I'm going to have to do it another way, aren't I? Let me do it. First time working in this kitchen. So, let's do this right. Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? I don't want my camera dropping in. To it. Anyway, that's the soup. Alright, that is the soup. Let's go back over this way. I don't know what I've done there. That's it. Right, we're back at the right way now. Hopefully we're back to where we was. I'm hoping. I'm having to move it around a little bit. Right, so soup is done. Alright, so if you can literally eat it now. It will store in there. Maybe if it's a hot country that you're in, you want to store it somewhere cooler once it cools down. Put it in the fridge, do what you've got to do. But you know, mind you, I know it's such a cold day today, but let me go and get a soup bowl. Okay, so here's the soup bowl. This is what I sort of use. So it's just like a mug really, but you can have it as a bowl. Actually, I've washed everything up. So where is my soup scoop? I don't know if it's going to get any better in this kitchen. With this filming, I'm not sure. But I think I've had fun doing it, and I hope you have fun watching it. I do love a bit of soup, and I'm actually going to eat it now. And now remember, if you want to put cream on or in your soup, now is the time to do it. This is it. It's even though it's warm, it's off the heat, you can put it in, just stir it in, or if you're going to dish it up in a soup bowl, you can literally put some cream on top. So before I edit, I'm going to eat my soup. So, it's nice and thick. Beautiful. Can you see that? Can you actually see what I'm doing? I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not. I think you can. I love soup. And the more homemade, the better. Get a bit of kitchen roll. Not sure if I like this kitchen roll, to tell you the truth, because it's patterny. Usually I have plain. I didn't realise when I picked it up, but it's better than nothing. And I'm literally going to go back to my desk and drink my soup. So, it's good. It's good. So, if you watch me on Murder Analysed, I shall be speaking to you soon, because I'm going to do the Star of the Months are coming up. Also, at the moment, I'm just doing the Murder Mornings, and I'm also researching a case. So, if you're not on Murder Analysed, I'll see you here next time. So, cheers. Bye bye.